Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. For this video, we're going to take a look at the MEZCO 112 Collective MEZCO Exclusive Wolverine. And I'm really excited to have this guy finally in hand. I didn't think I'd be able to get him here in Australia. I did have to pay a little extra for him, but nowhere near as crazy as the prices are now on eBay. So let's start off with the packaging first. Very simple yellow background with the X-Men X in the front. You got a nice metallic MEZCO exclusive sticker there. Wolverine, Marvel logo. Very simple, very effective. And on this side, you've got all blue logo, Wolverine 112 Collective. On the back, a very nice silhouette close-up shot of Wolverine there. And as you can see, the packaging itself is matte and finished, so it looks really, really nice. Same on this side. And on the top, you've just got the MEZCO 112 Collective logo. And on the bottom, bit of company information. And now let's get this guy opened up. Of course, I was too excited to receive this guy. I actually already took him out. But as you can see, he's got his optional heads here, the demon mask here. His claw hands would have gone there because he comes with the closed fist fitted and optional hands there. The MEZCO exclusive packaging is much smaller than the regular releases, which I actually prefer because there's much less wasted space. And for collectors who like to keep the box, like myself, it's much easier to store. And his display base is on the back in a separate tray, and it comes with the Ziploc bag. And here are all the accessories that Wolverine comes with. To start off with, I'll just show you what he comes with on the figure. So out of the packaging, he comes with this head. Very nicely sculpted. Not much emotion showing there, but it's a very nice head sculpt. And he comes with the retracted claw fists. And obviously he comes with his clawed fists. These are very nicely done, very pointy and very sharp. And he comes with a pair of slightly open grasping hands, nicely painted there. And he comes with a pair of weapon holding hands, nicely painted there. Even though he doesn't come with any weapons, these will be useful when the regular release is released, which comes with the Muramasa blade. And he also comes with the demon mask from Ogon, which I think is Wolverine's teacher, but I'm not sure about the storyline. And in terms of optional heads, he gets an unmasked head, very nicely sculpted, very nicely painted, and also a teeth gritting masked head, again very nicely sculpted and painted. Except on my one, I can see a little bit of touch-up paint just on the top here. I'm not sure if this is a common issue, but it might have been a little bit of a scratch mark that they were trying to cover up. But from a distance, it doesn't look too bad. And he also comes with his display base, which has a massive X logo there. And you can either use the foot peg, which is already in the base, to stand the figure up, or you can pop this out and put on the display arm. And obviously he comes with a Ziploc bag, so you can put all of his accessories inside if you don't wish to keep the packaging. Swapping out the accessories is pretty straightforward. Simply pop the head off and put the other heads on. And just quickly show you the unmasked head. Very nice. And swapping the hands out is pretty straightforward as well. But be careful not to bend or put any force on these claws, because they do look quite fragile. And that's what he looks like with the claws attached. Very nice. And you can probably use the kind of slightly open grasping hand to make it look like he's holding the mask. And here's a closer look at the figure itself. So starting from the head, very nicely sculpted face, very nicely painted. Quick spin around to the back. See, the sculpting is really nice between the neck and the head. And the suit's pretty nicely stitched down the back. And on the shoulder pads there's a bit of silver dry brushing to make it look a little bit battle worn, so that's cool. And the hinges here on the shoulder pads are actually attached to the top of the arms, so they swing around with the arms, so that's good. They do tend to fall off easily, so just watch out for that, but they pop back on pretty easily. Front of the suit, it's quite nice. It's not perfect, there are little tiny imperfections in my one, but that's to be expected from mass-produced toys, which I don't mind too much. And there's some nice rubberized detail on the suit, these lines down here, his tiger stripes on the side, and even his pants are rubberized material, which is nice. And on his arms, it's got some nice hair detail there, and it actually feels textured, so it might be actually in the mold, and they've just put some brushing detail on it as well. Gauntlets are very nicely designed, some strap detail there, and the buckles are painted. And the claws themselves look very, very good. Coming down to his belt, nicely painted buckle there, bit of a metallic red going on there, and the rest of the belt is painted red with black kind of wash to bring out the details. And the pants are rubberized, and they do have black detail on the seam, so that's really nice. And on my one, the stitching is not too bad. You can see a little bit of the lines, but when you've got the figure standing in front of you, you don't really notice it too much, so that's okay. And more rubberized detail on the fabric on the legs and on the back as well, so that's quite nice. Nice stitching on the underpants, and nicely detailed boots. We've got some strap detail here with buckles painted silver and dry brushed silver detail on these fins, and also on the lace, what are they called, eyelets I guess. And the boots themselves are nicely painted. There are two different shades of blue, so it's not just one blue boot, so that's quite nice. And on the bottom you've got treads for the sole of the boots, so that's quite good. And moving on to articulation, starting with the head, you can look up that far and down to there. It's a very good tilting range, and side to side, which is really good, and all the way around, of course. So he does have articulation at the top of the neck and also at the base of the neck, so it gives him pretty good range for the head. And for the shoulders, okay, that just came off, but anyway, he does have a bit of a butterfly joint, but it is a little bit restricted by the fabric of the clothing, or that it's just not very articulated in the first place, I'm not sure. But you can only get it to come forward a little bit and back a little bit as well. And you can get his arms to rotate all the way around because there's no clothing restricting the movement, and you can get his shoulders all the way up to there without the armor. Let me see if I can pop this armor back on. Okay, so with the shoulder armor back on, he can still raise his arms pretty much vertically, so that's good. The joints on the shoulder are a little bit tight, so you have to take care when rotating them. He does have a bicep swivel here, so all the way around. Double hinged elbows, pretty good bend there, more than 90 degrees. And he's got pin and hinged swivel joint thingy for his wrists, so in and out and all the way around. And for his torso, he can crunch forward that far and back that far, So quite a bit more back than forward, and he's got a bit of side to side as well. And for his hips, he can split this much, kick forward this much, back to about there. And I have noticed that the hip joints are quite a lot looser than the rest of the other joints, but luckily the fabric kind of gives it a little bit of stiffness there. And there is thigh rotation, top of the thighs there, and he's got double jointed knees, I think. Yep, so pretty good bend there, more than 90 degrees. And you can also rotate at the top of the boots, only slightly, but good enough, I think. And for his ankles, he does have a bit of an ankle tilt, not heaps, but it is there, and it also goes outwards. And he can point his toes down that far and back up to there. And in terms of height, he measures about 15 centimeters to the top of his head, so that's about 5.9 inches. And now for some size comparisons. First up, here he is with MEZCO 112 Collective Punisher, 112 Collective Commander Rogers, 112 Collective Deadpool, Marvel Legends Deadpool, Marvel Legends Brown Suit Wolverine, Marvel Legends Old Man Logan, Marvel Legends Puck Series Wolverine, Revoltech Wolverine, SH Figuarts Hulk, SH Figuarts Ant-Man. Here he is with Marvel Legends Sabretooth, and lastly DC Icons Superman. This Wolverine is pretty much everything I've ever wanted in a Wolverine action figure. The classic yellow tiger stripe uniform, very nicely articulated, highly detailed, and just all round really badass looking Wolverine figure. Obviously it's not perfect. There are little things here and there that I think a lot of the high-end collectors would probably nitpick at, but I do realize that these are mass-produced toys, so not all of them will be 100% perfect, so I can live with that. Things like defects in the uniform. I know it's not going to be possible to have everything looking, you know, perfect. Some people have pointed out the bunching up of the fabric on the top here, which I don't really see as an issue. And also, I think the biggest issue with this guy that a lot of people have is the stitching in the underpants. It does look like it might come loose at some stage, but at the moment I think it will hold up if you don't pose this guy too much in very outstretched poses. And it's not really that noticeable when you've just got him standing there, so I don't mind that either. There are a few things that I am a little bit unhappy about. The fact that this guy was so hard to get, especially when he's probably one of the most popular characters in the X-Men or even Marvel franchise, and also given that this suit is his most iconic look, arguably, MEZCO should have really made this guy a mass release. And one other thing is, to me, I think the yellow on the suit is a little bit on the light side. I would have preferred the yellow to be a little bit darker, or even just a deeper yellow. For example, if I bring in the Revoltech version here, you can see the yellow is much deeper and richer. It's probably a little bit more difficult to get this type of color on fabric, but if I could have changed it, I probably would have tried to get this yellow a little bit deeper like the Revoltech version. But other than that, very happy with the figure. Definitely worth the money if you can get him close to retail. But at the end of the day, the value of whatever you collect is based upon how much you want him. So if you're going to pay $300 for him, I'm not going to judge. Whatever makes you happy. Just remember, this is a hobby, so don't get too crazy. And that concludes my review of the 112 Collective Wolverine action figure. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, and I'll see you guys next time for another toy review.